Hey there, Brian Goulet of gouletpens.com, and I wanted to show you something kind of cool today. This is the new Lamy Studio Special Edition for 2014 called Wild Rubin. This is a red pen that's similar, but a little bit different from the previous one from 2012, which was called Royal Red. So I thought it would be handy to show you both of those pens in this video. And also something unique that Lamy is doing with this pen is they're offering it in both a 14 karat gold nib version as well as a steel nib. So you kind of get your choice. So I thought I'd ink it up with both nibs, show you what it's all about. Let's check it out. So here it is. It's the same basically as all of the other Lamy Studios. The only one that's a little bit different is the stainless steel Studio, which has a rubber grip section, but this one is the same as all of the other Studios that are out there. It's different because this is a special edition, but it's going to be coming with the gold and steel nib option, which is unique as far as since I've been aware of Lamy in the last couple of years. So if you look here, this is the two-tone nib. It's 14 karat gold, writes really nicely. These nibs are fantastic and are only available basically on a couple of different Studio pens. So I'm really kind of happy that this is available on this pen. Writes really smooth. It's got a little bit of softness to it, but it's solid 14 karat gold, except that it's coated in rhodium, except for right around here in the middle where it's got that little gold strip. So that's kind of cool. The red itself is got a little bit of a hint of pink to it. So it's not kind of the same orangey red like you have in the Royal Red. But you'll notice that the finish on these pens is a little bit different. This is a little bit shinier, right? So most of the Studios have kind of this anodized, kind of matte finish to them, and you can feel it feels a little bit different. This one is glossier. It's definitely like some kind of lacquer finish. It's shinier, and it has much more of a kind of sparkle to it because it's got that lacquer finish. I imagine, I don't know exactly how they make these pens, but I imagine it's some kind of you know, pearlized you know, powder that they put in the lacquer when they spray it on or something. But in any case, I did think it would be handy to compare these two pens next to each other. That finish is more similar to what you saw on the white Studio, which I don't remember exactly what year, but it was a couple of years ago. It had kind of this glossy lacquer, you know, sparkly finish to it. I never actually carried this one, so this was came out at least before 2011 when I started carrying Lamy. And then I thought it would also be nice to show you in comparison to the Red Safari, just so you get an idea of the type of red that we're working with. So it's a little bit deeper red than the Safari, and it's got a little bit of a kind of a pink purplish hue to it. Just a little bit, not a lot, but it's subtle, as opposed to more of the orangey red that you have in the Safari and in the Royal Red. So the Lamy Studio is a really popular pen. It's a great pen, you know, kind of for working professionals. The one thing that I'm not quite as crazy about with this pen is the fact that it's got a shiny metal grip section. So if you're writing for long periods of time, it can get a little slippery in your fingers. That's more bothersome for some people than for others. And if you've used a variety of pens, you yourself will know what you prefer. And it can leave some fingerprints too if you're you know, bothered by that. You know, it might drive you a little bit crazy, but for me, I don't really worry too much about fingerprints. It's got this kind of, you know, airplane propeller clip thing that the Studio is known for. You know, it's definitely distinctive. It's got a good amount of spring to it, like so. It's got just a subtle Lamy logo up in here, and the pen does come with a Lamy Z26 converter that you can fill. It's also got a Lamy cartridge that you can use as well. They're proprietary, so you've got to use the Lamy ones, but that's why I like the converter, so you can use bottled ink. Pen is postable, and it is a snap cap posting as well as snap to close. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ink up the Studio here and give it a shot. I can use a Lamy cartridge, but you know, I like to use bottled ink personally. So I've got the Z26 converter, and It's easy to install. You just kind of push it in the back of the pen, and then the piston moves up and down. You can use it for whatever you want. So I'm going to push that down there. I've got a bottle of Lamy turquoise. It's one of my favorites. Lamy inks for sure. But even aside from Lamy, it's pretty solid ink. So not solid as in, you know, physically, but solid as in good quality. So you just, you know, kind of dip the pen down in there. I'm going to draw up a bit. I'm not going to fill the thing all the way because I'm just kind of right testing it here. So I'm just going to fill it up partially in the converter. And then I'm going to get my little paper towel here. Just wipe off the nib. Now this here I've got is a 14 karat nib. And this thing writes really, really nicely. So let me get this back on here. Put it away. So this 14 karat nib writes amazingly smooth. I personally just absolutely love it. So Lamy Studio. It's really smooth. It's got a little bit of softness to it. So if you want to get some line variation, if you write with it, I would not say that this is a flex nib by any means. I'm always hesitant to use that word, but it definitely can give you a little bit of variation depending on your pressure. I just equate it more to being kind of a shock absorber. So as you're writing, the nib can bend a little bit just to absorb some of the variances in pressure that you might write with. And then this is Lamy turquoise ink. And I like this ink a lot. It shades really nicely. It's got a nice color to it. Good matchup. Not a color matchup for this pen, but it is a pretty solid combo here. This is the 14 karat medium as well. Got the K. And because Lamy's doing something kind of unique with this pen, they're offering it in both the 14 karat gold and the steel nib versions. Thought I'd go ahead and just do a little writing comparison between the two. I had a 14 karat medium on this Studio before, and now I've got a 14 karat, sorry, I've got a steel medium on here. So just to give you a little bit of a comparison, I know you'll have to kind of trust me as far as the feel and so on. So if I give it a little bit of pressure and then lighten up on it a little bit, it's definitely not quite as much variation as you can get. The steel nib is definitely a little tougher. It's not quite as smooth. It's still not too bad. I mean, Lamy is a pretty well-known brand at this point, so a lot of people will kind of have an idea of what to expect. The flow is not going to be quite as wet with the steel nib as it is with the gold one. I'm using the same ink, same paper. You can see there the ink is just not quite as dark, not quite as saturated. You're not going to get quite the same degree of shading. It doesn't feel quite as soft as you're writing it because that nib is not going to have a lot of give on it, the steel one. So you're going to notice there's a huge jump in price between the steel and the medium. Sorry, the steel and the 14 karat. That's what you're paying for, is that softness, the smoothness, slightly wetter. That's about it. Is it worth it? Well, that's really up to you. For most people, I would say probably not, unless you are really in the market for that gold nib kind of experience. But if you just want this color pen with the steel nib, man, it's a cool option. This is the first that I'm aware that they've ever done a special edition with a steel nib option. So that's pretty sweet. So there you go. Glad I was able to give you a little bit of a tour of the Lamy Studio Wild Rubin. If you are interested in it, it's not available yet as of the shooting of this video. It's mid-September of 2014 right now. It's gonna be another month or so before it's available. I don't have an exact date yet. I'm told mid-October 2014 as of right now, at least in the US. It may come available in other places. You know, Lamy's they're worldwide brand, so they release things at different times. But that's the latest info that I have. If you are interested in it, you can go to gouletpens.com and check out our email notification feature. That way you are notified as soon as we put the pen in stock. Should be in plenty of time for the holidays though. And if you are interested in getting this pen, it is a special edition, so it's not going to be available forever. However, what they usually do is make kind of a good sized batch of it, and then it usually takes about a year or so to sell out of them. So if you really, really, really want this pen, I would go ahead and get it sooner than later. But if it's something you got to save up for, especially that 14 karat version, you know, I know it's a little bit on the more expensive end. it's something you have a little bit of time to save up for. And then one last kind of cool thing they're doing that I haven't seen them do before is they're putting this into a gift set. So they're including the pen, bottle of ink in the 14 karat version anyway, and putting it into a really nice box. So for the holiday season, really good gift set, kind of cool. So got any questions about the Wild Rubin? Leave a comment on YouTube or on Ink Nouveau. And if you like this video and you want more like it, be sure to subscribe on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching, and write on.